Ladies and gentlemen, we are back.
You're absolutely back.
We are. It's like Ed Helms from Hangover. We are back.
That's a good one.
We are back. Welcome to a new episode of Full Steam Ahead. I'm your host, Zoe. Cantu is on the other side. New type of little background we got here going. We'll explain that here in the middle. Ticker's at the bottom. Got a lot of things going on, but the main part of it, besides talk about our little month break, which no one really gives a shit, the Astros, the offseason is finally here. We usually have our objectives on the side, but we're going to be talking about them like we used to do back in them days. But Dodgers won the World Series. Give a little bit of the latest what's to come from the Astros. There was a couple moves already made this today in the afternoon. Of course, Alex Bregman winning that Gold Glove. Silver Slugger finalists are here as well. We'll talk a little bit more about the Astros offseason because, like I said, it's already here. What are the needs? What they need to go look for? Talk about that and around the horn because there have been some options being picked up and some players are not getting that option either. Some players are already heading into free agency. Cantu, we are back like I mentioned, dude. Got that month break. It felt good. I'm not going to lie. But got to be kind of ecstatic that we're back in this pod talking about not just Astros, but
absolutely. The dual threat is back for sure. Yeah, it's great to be back. Honestly, it's been a long time coming. I kind of miss these interactions here now and then, or when we text each other about baseball moves and stuff like that, or like predictions stuff like that. So it's good to finally talk about it. Kind of get your piece, our piece, and just let the fans know what's up, what's going on, what's day to day for Astros news. And yeah, there's a lot already going on. I know that the off season is here, but there is no offseason in baseball because there is things getting done, contracts getting worked, moves getting placed up and down, and we got you covered for all the latest Astros news and for what's to come.
Definitely. Talk to us about that stash. Last time we didn't see you with the stash, and hey, now you got a stash. Look at that.
Yeah. It's just a new look. I've been having it now for about a month, less than a month, I think. Mm-hmm. So hey, just want a new look, try it out. I have some official pictures so I can look back years later and I was like, I had a stash on.
Are we participating in like No Shave November or what? That's what we're already November 4th. So I
already shaved this morning, so I will not be participating in that.
So yeah, we already knocked that out the list. But yeah, real quick, we'll just briefly talk about a new area that we have right here. The brick little part right there is homage to outside Minute Maid Park. Of course, it has that brick, the different colors. I'm not going to talk about it because I'm not a brick enthusiast, but we have that. The off season is here. That font commemorates Minute Maid Park. Of course, if you've seen the neon sign outside there, that's what it has right there. We have our ticker right here, but we're not going to continue on with the ticker. Of course, if you have followed us, and we usually tell you look at the ticker below, but now we're going to have it on the top right where Angel's head, where he's pointing actually right there. That's where you could get to follow us from all our social media platforms. And of course, our Spotify and Apple on the other side right there, our Skin Up Podcast Network as well. So little new look. Of course, we still got that intro video from 24. As soon as the Astros make all their moves heading into the new season, we'll kind of edit that out and get that ready for the new upcoming season. So you don't have to talk about like, hey, Angel, tell them where we can find us and all this other stuff.
Perfect.
Save your voice for a change, I guess you could say.
Absolutely. I'll save it once we get some sponsorships. I'll say the sponsor little jingle, I guess you can say.
I had the sponsorships on the bottom on top of the bricks, almost like over there with the community signs that they have over there and where the cool. Boxes are at. But
yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, different look. Of course, our YouTube thumbnail as well when we post our podcast on like Instagram, on YouTube, and on Twitter. It'll have a new look. I think it'd be something very different, very unique. Took a while to kind of like interact and try to figure it out, but I think it's going to be good. I think it pays homage to another part of Minute Maid Park. But let's talk briefly about this World Series because it was a very hyped over the American League MVP. More than likely is going to be Aaron Judge, and National League MVP is more than likely going to be Shohei Ohtani. 2024 World Series ended up going to the Los Angeles Dodgers in Game 5, 4-1. It was like 3-0 before Game 4. The next thing you know, the Yankees did win that one, and then Game 5 had happened. But honestly, I think the Yankees just shot themselves in the foot in this series.
Yeah.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
there was a bunch of questionable moves. Like, we could go to Game 1 real quick off the bat. Throwing Nestor Cortez to get one out against Freddie Freeman, who has a really great split number against left-handed hitters. But then again, Nestor Cortez hadn't pitched over a month. When you had another lefty reliever in the bullpen, you obviously saw what happened to Freddie Freeman. Had that grand slam, which was pretty damn badass because it was kind of on the anniversary day, if I'm not mistaken, of Kirk Gibson's home run against Dennis Eckersley in that like 1980 something World Series.
About that.
Yeah, very questionable call on Aaron Boone's part right there. And later on too, after the World Series, they had mentioned in a tweet that Boone's going to come back with the Yankees. And I thought from that move from Game 1, I did not think he was going to come back as the next Yankees manager.
Yeah, I mean, questionable decisions, like you said, not just in the World Series, but I feel like also like throughout the regular season as well. But I mean, that's the Yankees guy, I would say. I mean, the thing is, he really does stand up for his club. That's the biggest thing. I think he is a pretty good figure there. It's just more like decision wise, not being able to get the job done.
Yes, and then obviously too, Juan Soto, the biggest guy in free agency this coming winter. A lot of Yankee fans are hoping that man stays in New York. But if you are a Yankees fan, and if you do not get Juan Soto, I think that is a very positive, big plus sign. Because instead of deferring all that money to a guy that's probably, honestly, I think he's going to get 700. I honestly think he's going to get 700. But if you give him all that money, where's the other moves that are going to happen? Gleyber Torres did not get a qualifying offer. He's going to be a free agent. Same goes for Anthony Rizzo. You got some pieces then the bullpen over there that are going to have to be kind of picked up as well. But yeah, Juan Soto, yeah, if you saw, I think it was in Game 5, you could see his face in the dugout when they're like literally about to celebrate. He kind of like looked at it like, yeah, this ain't it. 3-0, 3-0 deficit, and we just blew a 5-0 lead in Game 5, which they honestly should have won that game.
Yeah.
If you're Soto, do you see that as like, well, we could come back next year and I'll be a Yankee for life? Or you see that in another player's perspective, yeah, we just blew a 5-0 lead and this could have been a World Series we could have captured.
I mean, I can't tell you what he's thinking, right? But I mean, it could play a factor in where he signs. I mean, the positive thing is that they did make it to the World Series and they weren't. I mean, that tells you right away that they have the team, the team potential there. They did have the best record in the American League as well. So they have the talent there. It's just more like finishing the job. But I mean, it could play a part. I don't know. At the end of the day, I feel Juan Soto's going to go whoever gives them the most money. It can be the Yankees, the Mets. I know the Dodgers have been in the mix too. Yeah, so it can be anybody. I think whoever opens up their checkbook, I think that's where Soto's gonna go.
All 30 teams are available. He said he's open to any team.
Yeah,
Astros are getting ready to write that check.
Did you see what Joe Kelly said about the Yankees Dodgers series?
I did see something about that.
I have the quote right here. It says he said it was a mismatch from the get-go. If we had a playoff re-ranking, they might be ranked at 8th or 9th best playoff team. And when he says they, that's referring to the Yankees as well. He also says you're putting the Padres ahead of them, you're putting the Phillies ahead of them, you're putting the Mets ahead of them, you're putting the Braves ahead of them. And so, I mean, what do you think about that? So basically, he was basically saying that their World Series happened when they were playing in San Diego and they were playing in the other National League matchup there.
Yeah, the Mets even put a bigger fight than the Yankees did. And then the Padres, I think Dave Roberts already had mentioned like that was kind of a World Series environment, and that could have been a World Series as well. But off a little bit of the Yankee talk, we could talk about the Dodgers because Freddie Freeman did make history, hitting 6 consecutive home runs. My gosh, he was on a tear. So he passed George Springer, which he had 5. Now Freddie Freeman does lead in that category. But what a magnificent story for him, dealing with his son early on in the season, the middle part, having to be going through that, battling an ankle injury. At the end, he had some rib cartilage too he was dealing with and bothered with. And look at that, dude. I mean, he had one of the best World Series performances I've seen in a good while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was lights out. I mean, that was a guy that really beat the Yankees single-handedly. Honestly, you could say that. I mean, World Series MVP, just a leader in that, like in that block up, kind of like Shohei Ohtani didn't have his best stuff. Mookie Betts didn't have his best stuff, but someone had to step up, and that guy was Freddie Freeman.
Yeah, and then it's sad to hear about Fernando Valenzuela passing away before the World Series had started. That was very sad because that's one of the pitchers I liked from, at least player-wise, from the Dodgers organization that I really enjoyed watching his highlights, seeing what he does when he pitched that unhittable screwball. I mean, beautiful. But it's almost like that almost every postseason or World Series. Like if you remember 2021, Hank Aaron passing away, Braves won the World Series. It's kind of the same thing here. A legend in Valenzuela passing away, Dodgers won the World Series, but
it was given.
I mean, it was kind of, but then it wasn't. Kind of just ask Garrett Cole, just pointing to Rizzo at first base. It's kind of, which that was crazy. I mean,
that's the first
come on, man. Like in my view, we played baseball. I'm not saying we played freaking minor league baseball, but that is taught in little league, PFPs in high school, college. Come on, man. You got to cover that base, especially how far out Anthony Rizzo was playing on a backhand as well. And Rizzo's speed is not the best. And at the first point, when you see Cole bounce off the mound, him and Betts are like neck and neck. Mm-hmm. So it's a bang bang play at the end of the day. At the end, at least trying your best to get to first base and try to make a play out of it and possibly getting out of it.
Yeah. I mean, that's two people didn't do their job. I'd say Rizzo had a chance to go run over there too, but at the end of the day, it looks bad at the pitcher because you're, like you said, like you're trained to do your PFPs. He's been doing it for so long.
Yes, most definitely. Joshua is back with us. How's it going, man? Loves the new layout as well.
Cool.
That's what we're trying to do. Yeah. As we were trying to do. But before we get started with everyone here right now, we're gonna try to get some guests on this coming off season. We'll have a guest maybe once a month. Obviously, November's here, so we'll try to get a guest on December, January, all the way till whenever spring training starts for the Astros. So just to give everybody a heads up now, if you do plan to log off, which hopefully you don't, we'll talk about it here at the end of the episode as well. But let's talk about the Houston Astros.
Yeah, let's get into Astros talk
because that's what everybody is here for. Man, let's start off with Alex Bregman. Alexander David Bregman, earning his first Gold Glove award in his career. Ernie Clement and Jose Ramirez were the other two guys in that category, but Bregman did beat him and led all American League third baseman in games with 142, fielding percentage with 972, assists 242, total chances 355, and putouts 103. He tied for first in outs above average with 6, tied for second in defensive run save with 6 as well, and third in zone rating. Bregman would only become the second third baseman in Astros history to win a Gold Glove award, joining Doug Rader, who won the award from 1970 to 74. So 5 years consecutively with the Astros.
Can Caminiti win with the what? Padres? He didn't win with the Astros?
I don't know if he won a Gold Glove, but I mean, more than likely, if he did, it'll probably be with the Padres, with the Pads. But
he won 3.
Yeah, Jake Myers did not win the Gold Glove award. Jaron Duran was the other guy, but Dalton Varsho from the Blue Jays went ahead and won that one. And Mauricio Dubon, which was a shock to me. I thought Dubon had a great chance of winning that award. Woody Castro was the other guy in the mix from the Twins, but Dylan Moore, the AL West rival Mariners utility man Dylan Moore, did win that award. When you look at their numbers side by side, I think Dubon, you can say he had a better stat package than Moore did this season, but I mean, coaches and I think managers and I think front office members GMs make the, do the voting when it comes to this.
Yeah, Alex Bregman Gold Glove is long overdue. Honestly, I think he could have
Sure.
won one many years back as well. Defensive wizard and perfect timing for Alex Bregman. Honestly, he's free agent now. He adds a Gold Glove to his resume. That's just opening the pocketbooks up. So I'm sure he's excited for that. But yeah, long overdue. Really needed it. And I honestly like the Dalton Varsho pick. Former catcher, made outfielder, and he plays that center field like pretty good. I remember I tuned into a Toronto game randomly because with the MLB right package stuff like that.
Mhm.
Literally, I turned on TV. Two plays that he's making a diving catch at the wall to rob a base hit. So I'd say all three guys, Jake Myers, Jaron Durant, and Dalton Varsho, are equally deserving. Honestly, it could have been a toss up, but there's no wrong choice with that one. And
Mhm.
when Mauricio Dubon done more with the Castro, honestly, again, could have been anybody's there. But I mean, I don't. I like all the picks. I mean, there
Yeah.
wasn't one that was kind of like, oh, we kind of got. I I think the only pick, and it was called right. And I talked about like William Bray winning that Gold Glove. If it would have been Juan Soto, then I would have been kind of like, But William Bray was the right pick.
Well, the same thing with Anthony Volpe. Anthony Volpe, I mean, he's had numerous errors and even
Yeah.
showed in the World Series in that game 5. And same thing, like if he would have won the award, I would have been like, I felt very confident that Bobby Witt was going to win it.
Mm-hmm.
14 new members, to 14 first time winners, I meant to say,
It's
getting a
crazy.
Gold Glove. So that's pretty impressive. The only thing too, when if we're talking about like defensive stats and players that should have at least been a finalist, you got to go to the National League and you got to go the shortstop with Francisco Lindor. I thought honestly he should have been
Mm-hmm.
on that list. Really great defensive player. He's won a Platinum Glove and a Gold Glove award with the Cleveland Indians, not Guardians, Indians. And he had an impressive season offensively and defensively for the Mets. So I think that could have been a guy that I probably would have liked to see on the finalists at least. But Tovar did win that award, youngest shortstop in National League history to win that. That's pretty great.
Pretty phenomenal stuff there.
Yeah, but like you mentioned, with Alex Bregman adding this award to an impressive resume that he already has with the Astros, just really in baseball in general, two-time All Star, 2018 All Star Game MVP, Silver Slugger, which he is going to be talking about in a minute, being a finalist and two-time World Series champion. I mean, he just continues to build on that resume, and that's what's going to make it difficult, really, for the Astros to try to re-sign
Mm-hmm.
him back in an Astros uniform. Can it happen? Yeah, it could happen, but same time too, I do not see him being a 200 mil plus, but the average where I'm looking at is 165 to 185.
Okay.
I don't know if that's kind of the same area you're looking at when it comes to the contract. I think for Bregman though too is going to be the years. The years are going to
Yeah.
be the biggest part of this contract.
I'm looking more at 180.
180.
Yeah, 180. I can see maybe 6 7 years. If the Ash, I mean, I think that's what it's gonna have to take. 6 7 years, 180. I think that's a done deal there.
Yeah, I think it's like 5 to 7. For me, it's 5 to 7. One of those, and like I said, with the money package, 165 to 185. But I just do not see him getting 200. If he does, I mean, shoot, he deserves it. He had a really great season. If he's had really great seasons previously with the Astros as well. He's already won 2 rings, Gold Glove, Silver Slugger, All Star. I mean, he's already got it all. At this point, it's kind of like what you're setting up for your future as a ball player. You want to get the
Yeah.
most as you can, I would say.
He has 2 rings.
Yeah, 17 and 22.
Yeah, that's right.
Come
Right,
on,
right.
man. Come on. I know we're a little rusty. I know we're a little
Yeah,
rusty right now, but
that's what
hey,
it is. That's what it is.
I know we're a little rusty. But Astros, speaking of World Series champions, they do add a World Series champion as well via trade. And that was today in the announcement. The Astros acquired outfielder Taylor Trammell from the New York Yankees in exchange for cash considerations. The Astros announced that Trammell is a former first round pick in the 2016 MLB draft. Trammell combined to play, and this is the hilarious stat of the night, I would say. He combined to play 10 major league games this season, 5 with the Dodgers and 5 with the Yankees. So regardless, he was going to get that ring one way
Yeah.
or the other. But majority of the season he did was in the Yankees farm system at AAA Scranton, and in the Yankees, like I said, in the Yankees farm system, appearing in 106 games while hitting 256, 20 doubles, 18 homers, 63 RBIs, a 381 on base percentage, and an 869 OPS. When this move happened, I was kind of like, and I told you before we started, I was kind of thinking, I'm like, well, the Astros need money to go spend in this offseason. And, they do have a lot of dead money right now with that Jose Abreu contract, Rafael Montero as well. You would think they wouldn't do that, but they went ahead and made the move, and they got Taylor Trammell, who's played with the Mariners, the Yankees, the Dodgers, and I'm pretty sure there's another team out there. So another great player to use for the Immaculate Grid. But give me your thoughts on this move. What do you think?
I like it.
Oh, give me. Tell us why.
I like it. First round pick. He has the potential there. He even played in the futures game as well while he was with the Reds. So potential's there. You can, like, as we saw this last season with the Astros, you can never have too much death. Injuries happen. This is a guy that uses his speed. Very good defensive player. The bat wasn't there, but if the Astros got him, I think they saw something they could either fix, kind of tweak up a little bit. So, I mean, they believe in him. That's why they reached out and made that trade. And for cash considerations, you guys got to think, and we'll talk about this in a bit. Jose Urquidy, he's not that money that could have been possibly been for him could have gone to the Yankees. So it's not like they're not really adding anything, losing anything. I think it's just a good overall trade.
I wonder what are the numbers when it comes to like teams saying cash considerations. What are we talking about? 500,000, 800,000, maybe 1-2 million. I would like to get more info on that. But the player himself, he reminds me of a former Astro that they did the same thing. They took a risk, and I think either they traded or they signed or got on waivers an outfielder too, Lewis Brinson. He was a former first round pick as well. I think he played in the Japan League now. I'm not sure where he's at this moment, but that's kind of what this trade reminds me of as a player talent wise. Former first round pick, like you said, the potential is there. I think he's a great 5-tool player too. He has the defense, he has the speed, contact, a little bit of power. Like I said, 18 home runs isn't bad. On base percentage is going to be the biggest thing too when it comes to getting types of players. You need guys that are going to be on base that work walks, or the small contact with the drag bunts, or a little blue single here and there. Just think of Jeremy Pena this season. Had a lot of infield singles just because of his speed.
Absolutely. You didn't get on base, and then stolen bases is a factor too. Getting that extra bag. You're at second base on a little weak hit. With that speed, you could easily score. So, I mean, I like the move. We'll see how it turns out. Just a little insurance in the back. Like your core your core three are going to be there. You're still going to have Jake Myers. You're still going to have Jordan Alvarez. You're still going to have Kyle Tucker. But it's just a little security blanket there. I like it.
Definitely.
But there's been a lot of movement, like I said earlier. Although it's the off season, there really is no off season when it comes to baseball. There's a lot of things going on, and the Astros update their 40-man roster now. Before winter meetings and stuff like that, this is where they get the team kind of like build your foundation of the team a little bit, see who's in, see who's out, and there's been some players who will no longer be with the Astros as of right now. The Astros outrighted right-handed pitcher Oliver Ortega, and a surprise one, like I mentioned earlier, which I think to many fans it really caught them off, which is right-handed pitcher Jose Urquidy. They both cleared waivers and are now free agents. Now the Urquidy one makes sense to me. He's probably not going to pitch till maybe All-Star break, and then next year he's a free agent. And as what you saw with Lance McCullers and Luis Garcia, it's not a given. Obviously, they're recovering. So, and we talked about this when he got hurt, in the press boxes. Like that might have been the last time Jose Urquidy was in Astros uniform, and sure enough, they did clear him up. Now, they did owe him about millions of dollars, so I'm not ruling out that maybe Jose Urquidy comes back, signs for less. Could be, but that's more maybe thinking like mid-season, how next year. That's like a next year move for sure, but it's the right move because like you said, they're trying to bring back these players, trying to sign players, and having Urquidy at a club is just money that's not going to be used because there's very uncertainty with that type of injury.
Yeah, you got to think about too the arbitration, non-tendered, tendered. They got to figure out. And Fangraphs had projected. I got it right here, 3.75
Okay.
million to be paid to Urquidy during the arbitration hearing. So you make a good point right there. Um, the Astros saw that kind of what happened last season with McCullers and Garcia, and that is a great example because they were thinking like, okay, they're gonna come in. Maybe they'll come late of the All Star break. Maybe make a push into the postseason. Just didn't happen. And you make a great point. Maybe the Astros don't want that to happen this season. Because they don't know if Christian Javier and him are going to be healthy by the
Yeah.
time when it gets to that All Star break.
And then that's the money you can use for like maybe a low end reliever. You saw the Astros had success with that with Taylor Scott, especially losing some of the relievers that we're about to mention right here because Trey Cabbage, Seth Martinez, and Penn Murfee have been claimed on waivers. Trey Cabbage was a pretty good backup insurance plan there. I know the strikeouts were big, but every time he came into play, I felt like you were confident in his ability to play defense, his arm, and his bat. And then they lost two relievers, Seth Martinez, which had a pretty good season. I know, like towards the end, he was up and down for the Miners, but that first half of the season, he was pretty good to the Diamondbacks there. And then the White Sox claimed Penn Murfee. I think he was a little injured too, but that's two relievers that the Astros are going to have to make up for. Again, Kendall Graveman, I think he still has one more year for
I
the
think he's a
Astros.
free agent.
Oh, he's a free agent now too.
Mhm.
So that Urquidy money could easily go to a low end reliever to kind of you know get something back.
Yeah. The Trey Cabbage one, like you mentioned, like he did really whenever McCormick wasn't hitting, Jake Myers too was in a little funk. This was a guy that you could kind of plug and play, and he helped out big time too. Thinking about it, when Kyle Tucker went down, nobody
Yeah.
played that corner outfield spot more than him. He played right field most of the time until the Astros did pick up Jason Hayward, and then you saw Jason Hayward playing over there on the right side. So yeah, Trey Cabbage, that one was kind of a little shocking. Wasn't really shocking, but it was kind of just a tad because I thought the Astros. I think he did really well minor league wise and coming up in the big leagues whenever they needed him to come and produce.
Yeah. I mean, the Pirates saw something they liked, just like the Astros did, and that's why they went out to go get him. But I mean, it's baseball. It's a business at the end of the day. The Astros are making moves that are going to benefit the club. So
Hey, that's
maybe
why I got my Mexico hat on today too. That
maybe
boy Jose Urquidy.
maybe Trammell could be fit in for Trey Cabbage too. So
Yeah.
And then lastly, on my part, Astros have 4 Silver Slugger finalists. They already have a Gold Glover. Now they'll wait to see if any of these 4 stars are going to be a Silver Slugger, which is going to be either Jose Altuve at second base, Jordan Alvarez as a designated hitter, Alex Bregman at third base, and then Yanni or Diaz, catcher. They're all finalists for their positions. Now, before I say mine, Lorenzo, who do you think has the biggest chance to come away with the silver bat?
So real quick, just to give everybody references, Cole Keith, Marcus Simeon, and Gleyber Torres are the other finalists for second base. Brent Rooker, John Carlos stands the finalist for the designated hitter spot. Bregman, Rafael Devers, and Jose Ramirez for that spot. And then Yainer Diaz with Shea Langoliers, Salvador Perez, and Cal Riley. For me, as of right now, it's going to be Jose Altuve from the 4.
Okay.
Really had an almost hit. I think he was just shy of 300 from this season, or he had 300.
I think he was just
I think
shy
he
of
had
300.
299, if I'm not
Yeah, I think
mistaken.
he was just shy of 300.
Yeah, 299. I mean, 6 career Silver Slugger awards already too. He'd match Hall of Famer Ryan Sandberg from the Chicago Cubs for the most career Silver Sluggers at second
295.
base. That's pretty damn cool. But
295.
295. So yeah, just 5 points away from being at 300. 31 doubles, 20 home runs, 65 RBIs. I do have it right here in front of me. But I think him specifically over Gleyber Torres, Cole Keith, and Marcus Simeon, because Marcus Simeon, remember, that last part of that second half, he wasn't hitting the ball really well. And that's why the Rangers, too, weren't really winning a lot of games because of him not producing. I think even Corey Seager at the time wasn't producing, and he was kind of injured at the same time. So if it came to them four, I would think more than likely it's going to be Jose Altuve. The closest second I will say is Alex Bregman.
Okay. For me, I think it's to be Salvador Perez. However, I wouldn't be surprised if Yanier Diaz gives him a run for his money in the catcher position. Yanier Diaz has a better batting average. Yanier Diaz has a 299. So that's probably where you're getting that.
Oh, okay, that's probably why.
Mixed up from. Salvador Perez is 271. Yanier Diaz has 175 hits to Perez's 160. However, where Salvador Perez really takes off is the home run numbers, which is again kind of crazy because Yanier Diaz hit 24 home runs his rookie year and then toned it down a little bit with 16 and 84 RBIs. On base percentage is kind of plus slugging is pretty near 786 for Salvador Perez and 766 for Yanier Diaz. So, I mean, the numbers are there. I think it will be Salvador Perez. However, I wouldn't be too shocked or opposed of Yanier Diaz over him as well.
So the catcher's part, I didn't even think of Salvador. I'm thinking of Cal Riley. 30 plus home runs.
30 plus home runs too, yeah.
His offensive numbers, if you don't have him in that lineup, the Mariners do not win a little bit more of those games. I'm gonna be straight up honest. Julio Rodriguez didn't have his great year with the M's this season. And it's kind of like Cal Riley was that lifesaver of that lineup with the RBI production, with the home runs. I think he's like the second catcher to do it, or since Buster Posey. I don't have that stat right in front of me. I think I've read something about that, but it just shows like the power numbers from him was really remarkable this season.
However, Cal Riley has the advantage from home run wise in every other category. He does not. 220 batting average, only 120 hits. OPS has a lower OPS than Yanier Diaz and Salvador Perez. Their OPS plus is 119. That's for both Salvador Perez and Cal Riley, but Yanier Diaz is at 118, so pretty close. Again, I mean, as we say here in debate, honestly, if any of those three guys, there's no wrong answer for those. Yeah, really great ball players, really great hitters.
The only one I would say, Brent Rooker. He wins that DH.
Oh, yeah.
He wins the DH. And I think a lot of Astros fans are not going to be happy with that. But if you look at Rooker's numbers and Alvarez's number this season, which Alvarez, my God, 308 batting average, which is really great. 34 doubles, 35 home runs, 86 RBIs. That's impressive. Very impressive. 959 OPS, almost close to 1,000. But at the same time, too, Brent Rooker really shot off this season.
Well, even last year, I think last year he really got his name really out there, and then this year he just topped it, I would say. Yeah, 293, 39 home runs, 112 RBIs for Brent Rooker. So, I mean, pretty phenomenal.
I think he wins that award. But Tony, real quick on the chat, I would have kept Urquidy, and he had to ask Angel why they cut Urquidy.
I think we kind of explained it there. He was not. There's no given that he's going to be pitching next season, as you saw with Luis Garcia and Les McCullers, who the Astros were expecting to be back around the All-Star break, and Lorenzo pointed out that he's owed about $3.5 million in arbitration. So that's basically dead money for a guy who might not pitch the next season.
Saving a little bit of money, try to go get that additional piece, like Angel had mentioned. There's your answer, Tony. Of course, we don't know why they cut Urquidy, but what we're seeing and what we're thinking, I think that will explain a little bit more. Just a little nugget real quick. Hunter Brown hires a notable agent out there. I think everybody knows, per Chandler Rome. Hunter Brown hired Mr. Scott Boras as his agent. Doesn't mean necessarily that the Astros can't get an extension done with Mr. Hunter Brown, because the Astros have done extensions with Scott Boras' agents, as in Lance McCullers and Jose Altuve. But this guy right here, I firmly believe, and this is my opinion, you got to give him an extension.
No, yeah. Before he hits the arbitration period. Yeah, I agree with you there.
Yeah, because Framber's on his last year of his contract this coming season, and then he'll hit free agency. We'll talk about this in the Astros offseason right here in a second. But the last nugget before we move on to that part, Astros having their new coaching staff. There's a new third base coach, former Astros third base coach Gary Pettis. Contract was not renewed for the next season by the Astros. Since 2015, you've been seeing that arm wave aggressively aggressively for 10 plus years. So hope everything goes well for Gary Pettis in his future. But the Astros do add Arizona Diamondbacks third base coach Tony Perez Chica. He's been hired as the new third base coach and infield coach slash run prevention coordinator. So they do get a guy that obviously third base coach, you're waving the guys in and all that type of stuff, but you do add on an infield coach, which when we're there, Angel, it's always Joe Espada and Omar Lopez. Josh Bell himself, he'll feed the guy some ground balls too on the machine. But now getting a guy like this, which I'm about to read, it's pretty impressive. Been with the Diamondbacks since 2017. He's been the longest tenured coach over there for 22 seasons, which is really remarkable. But as the infield coach, Perez Chica helped Paul Goldschmidt, Nick Ahmed, and Christian Walker win multiple Gold Gloves through their years in Arizona. Obviously, you saw Christian Walker win his third consecutive Gold Glove with the Diamondbacks this season. He is a free agent. And then to add on to that Diamondbacks had the most Gold Glove finalists in the National League. It was Gabriel Moreno, Ketel Marte, Christian Walker being the infielders, and I think Jay McCarthy and Lourdes Gurriel Jr. was the two outfielders. But this guy, I think, is a great hire for the Astros.
Mm-hmm.
A very great hire. You can go ahead and give me your thoughts real quick. I do have some numbers on the side, but what do you think about this hire? Does this help the Astros defensively, offensively, or both?
Yes, I like it. And I definitely like it for one specific player, and that's to be Jeremy Pena.
Yes.
You saw Jeremy Pena kind of take a step back defensively. It could have been maybe pressure from that Gold Glove. It could have been something, right? However, having a Perez Chica with such a resume to get these Gold Gloves, I think it will benefit those young infielders as well as those young outfielders too. Just an overall guy, like as you said, like most guys take infield right before the game, just either on the side or on the field. But I think I really like the pick. Obviously, Gary Pettis has been a staple for the Astros for such a long time. Many Astros fans kind of like aren't too happy with that. But however, it's all about winning. And Gary Pettis dealt with some health issues, so we don't know. We don't know if it was a mutual agreement. We don't know if Gary Pettis wanted to not come back. So we don't know the context of that or the inside part. But Perez Chica, I think, is a really great candidate or like really good replacement for Gary Pettis. Is what I meant to say.
Yeah, not to mention too, I forgot to say that Josh Bell is going to be doing the coaching in the outfielders. So he'll be coaching the outfielders in outfield. He was the quality control coach for the Astros this past season, but now he'll be working with the outfielders because Gary Pettis, a Gold Glover himself when he was a player, did work with the outfield. But some numbers to back up with Perez Chica. And like I said, I totally agree. This is one of the best moves in the offseason when we're talking about coaching staff moves for the Astros. And I did some research with Diamondbacks and Astros numbers from these past seasons. 24, Diamondbacks defense ranked second in outs above average, 34, fifth in defensive efficiency ratio with a 20.2, and seventh in fielding run value with 21 in Major League Baseball. So that says a lot. And that's talking even about the outfield, but the infield as well. 3 Gold Glove finalists. That says a lot. The Astros defense last season, and like I said, this is with infield and outfield. The defense ranked 20th in defensive runs saved, only having 1. 19th in outs above average with -4, fielding run value with a -2, and 15th in defensive errors fielding with 1.9. So I think bringing this guy that's going to put a priority on defense, and I've already mentioned this, we've seen Omar Lopez, we've seen Joe Espada work with the infielders, but now kind of I'm guessing you take that load off of Espada as well, being the manager that he already is, and you go get a guy like him to help out. I think it's a great move.
I think so too.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens this offseason when it comes to getting an infielder, because Alex Bregman is a free agent. I don't know what's the Astros plans, which we'll have it here in a minute. But let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and move on to the offseason is here. Astros have 8 free agents. Alex Bregman already had mentioned with 1. Justin Verlander, Yusei Kikuchi, Kendall Graveman, Hector Neris, Caleb Ferguson, Jason Hayward, and Ben Gamel. The Astros have till today to negotiate closely with Bregman. After today, if you're listening to this Tuesday morning, obviously it's already over, but he'll be available for the other 29 major league teams. From these players, who's likely to come back? 1, all, 0. Your thoughts?
You know what? I will go with 2.
2.
Alex Bregman. Let's say he comes back. I think the Astros finally get out of their little high horse and pay Alex Bregman.
Mhm.
You say Kikuchi. You saw that.
That is a huge one.
You see that pitching come times is not. That's it's very. It's not like you can never have too much pitching, right? That's what I'm trying to say. So the way Kikuchi came in here and adapted to Minute Park and pitched lights out in the season, I'd say gives very interest with the Astros. And plus, the Astros gave up 3 prospects for this guy, so I'd say that's pretty high on their who to sign list. You know what? I'm gonna add one more.
Wow.
Say I added a defensive guy, Alex Bregman, uh, starting pitcher, and let's go with Hector Neris. I think Hector Neris comes back. No, actually, let me. I recant. Say Kendall Graveman. I
Say
said,
Kendall Graveman.
yeah. The reason is I think Hector Neris is gonna the asking price would be really high, as you saw last year. He wanted a lot of money, didn't get what he wanted. However, I think he's gonna try to aim for that much again.
I mean, I would like to say Alex Bregman. Maybe there is a chance. But if they do not go get him, there's another free agent I got in my head. But from the group that we're talking about specifically, I would like to see Hector Neris back in this role. I think Hector Neris really fits in well with the Astros. He loves being around those guys. Every time we've seen him, he's always with Brian Abreu, with basically all the relievers, even Framber Valdez as well. So I think him being in this culture in Houston, he already mentioned too after they had won the division with Todd Callis in the post game that he just loves Houston. He just loves being here. So there's that part of me thinking like there's a strong chance of adding that reliever because I did ask Dana Brown. The back end was taxed this season, dude. And we've seen the numbers, career high numbers with Brian Abreu in innings pitch, Ryan Presley getting back in that familiarity role in that as the what's the name? Not holds. Shit. Setup, my fault.
Mm-hmm.
And then Josh Hader as well. I mean, I think Josh Hader was used a lot. So adding another guy, a middle relief guy like Hector, we didn't get to see the full package of him in the Nationals uniform in 24, but there's a strong chance that possibly he could come back on a 1-year deal, 2-year deal. It just depends too what the money's going to look like on that end, because with the numbers I have right here, the Astros luxury tax threshold is $241 million. The Astros payroll is about under $237 million, and the Astros have about $37 million to work with this offseason. So when you're saying Alex Bregman and you say Kikuchi, and I'm like, man, that's 2 tough gets right there.
Correct. However,
go ahead.
Which teams made it to the World Series?
Oh, I mean, the Dodgers, Yankees, right here.
Mets, Yankees, Dodgers, highest team with the biggest spending. Those teams, all 3 went over the luxury tax. So if the Astros are certainly are real about winning, they're gonna have to pay their dues and go over the luxury tax.
And I was gonna ask that too. I completely forgot when we were talking about the Dodgers and Yankees, but it showed right there in that series. Obviously, they traded Juan Soto, but Soto's gonna get that bag wherever he goes. But Dodger-wise, Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, those are guys with big contracts. You think paying the guys that much money, basically paying, is going to win you ball games?
It's just showed there. Even the Mets were in contention too, and they have one of the highest payroll too. So, I mean, unless you're like a team that develops great, I mean, and the Astros do develop great. I'm not saying they don't, like the Guardians and the Royals, stuff like that. However, what were they missing? That big superstar guy that's gonna take them over the hump. So, if the Astros are real about winning, they're gonna have to spend.
So basically, going out there and getting Juan Soto.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they'll go get maybe they'll get Bregman and Kikuchi, like you said. But we talked about maybe getting those guys back. What are going to be the Astros' needs? Is it starting pitching? Is it relievers? Is it third base? Basically, the corner infields of third base and first base. Give me some scenarios. What do you think happens this offseason for the Astros? And just give me some hot takes real quick.
Well, all the above. They need starting pitching, as you saw. You can never have too much pitching. I think I'm gonna say that this whole offseason because I've been saying it the last offseason too.
Yeah.
Uh, it's a given. You're gonna need pitchers. Uh, Relievers, as you saw, they just lost S. Martinez. They lost Penn Murfee. Hector Neris is a free agent. Kendall Graham is a free agent. So you're gonna have to fill up those gaps, those holes. Although they have seen some pretty good. Uh, they do have some pretty good guys that show that they can be up there, but they're gonna need some. So uh, and a first baseman is what they're gonna need as well. But if one of the rookies can pick up that hole, you see, this year, if you're gonna get Alex Bregman again, if you're gonna get Kikuchi, you're gonna have that same hole to fill at first base because I don't see them spending a lot for first base. So
Mm-hmm.
find a cheap guy there. I'd say hot take is that is that Alex Bregman is back. Um, I wouldn't be surprised if they aim guys like maybe Sean Monet. I think it'll be a pretty good signing. He showed that he can pitch in big spots as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'd be one of the starters to get if you can get Kikuchi.
Interesting. Very, very interesting hot take. Starting pitching, I agree. You cannot have too many pitchers in that depth chart in the roster. And it showed this season. The Astros did not have enough pitching
Sure.
with so many guys going on the IL. They had to get guys like Jake Bloss, Spencer Arrighetti. I know there's a lot of minor leaguers there too that we can be saying, like my
Blair
homeboy.
Henley.
Yeah, that's the guy I was thinking of. So yeah, starting pitching is gonna be like the biggest, not the biggest need, but you wouldn't mind getting a starting pitcher. And I think, and this is a guy that I've been saying for 2 to 3 years now, bring the
I already
kid
know.
from Alvin, Texas.
Yeah, I knew it. As soon as you said many years, I already knew who you were referring to.
Bring Nathan Uvalde back to Houston. Not too far from Alvin. The family's still out there. Maybe win another ring with another Texas team. I mean, we already saw that with Nolan Ryan. He completed the teams of Texas from Houston to Arlington. Well, maybe the vice versa comes from the kid from Alvin and Nathan Uvalde going from Arlington to Houston.
Yeah.
So, of course, he does have an injury history too, as well. But my gosh, when this guy is in the postseason, he is a different breed. He is a different animal. And the Astros have continued to go to the postseason for so many years. They haven't missed the postseason since 2016. So adding a guy like that, I don't think he'd be a high price. I wouldn't think. If he does, then shoot, maybe like you said, Angel, go get a guy like Sean Manaea. We don't have the free agents on our side right now, but we'll do that when the offseason, as the winter meetings get closer, to talk about these free agents. Reliever wise, I already had mentioned maybe bringing back Hector Neris. And this is the tricky part where we had mentioned third base. You said that the Astros are going to sign Alex Bregman. Astros fans, I'm sorry to tell you right now, I don't think the Astros are going to sign Alex Bregman. Okay. There's a hole at third base. Who's going to fill that hole? That's the biggest part right there. And that's why you said Alex Bregman's coming back to Houston. And if that's the case, there's not a lot of great names in free agency for third basemen. Yohan Makata is one that the White Sox did away. They didn't bring him back. That's a man. That would be tough to go get.
Gleyber Torres kind of. You can kind of move Gleyber Torres to third. That's always an option too. But
yeah, because I'm be honest with everybody too. I don't think Bryce Matthews is ready as soon as opening day starts. He is not ready. So that's a guy you could continue developing and working with. You saw that move from Bregman from shortstop to third base, and look at that. He won a Gold Glove, being on the finalist board for like the 4th time. So great for him. So if the Astros do not go get Alex Bregman, I think they go get Pete Alonso
or Willie Adames.
Willie Adames. No, that's not happening. They go get Pete Alonso. I think the polar bear comes to Houston, Texas. That is my hot take.
You see, but realistically, though, contract difference. What's the contract difference between Pete Alonso and Alex Bregman? It's literally the same, I would
Alonso's
say.
a little younger, great defensively as well at first.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, you're still going to be paying the same amount. So
I do like the Bregman staying part, and my choice, because you're still going to have John Singleton. You'll still have Victor Caratini. Yonder Diaz, too, has played some first. You had Mauricio Dubon play some first. The guy that, for me, you never had mentioned, I think the guy that's going to step up is Zach DeZenzo.
Yeah.
He'll be the guy at first base. But I'm having some fun here. We're having fun on this show. Alex Bregman, I do not think he'll come back, and that's why I think the Polar Bear is going to be coming to Houston.
Or, or,
Or
or
go ahead.
you bring back Alex Bregman, and you get Christian Walker on a 1 or 2 year deal.
But that's the thing. Christian Walker is not going to want a 1-2 year deal. He is not going to want a 1-2 year deal. He's 33 years old. He just won his third Gold Glove. If you're in his position, are you going to ask for a 1-2 year deal?
That's not what I'm not saying. That's what he's going to ask for. I'm saying that's what they could offer him.
But realistically, are you thinking the Astros are going to 1-2 year deal to Christian Walker? The thing that can help to the Astros' favor of possibly bringing Christian Walker is Tony Perez-Chica, the guy we just talked about, being the infield coach over there, helping him get his third consecutive Gold Glove. So,
see, however, who's price here though? Christian Walker or Pete Alonso?
it's going to be Pete Alonso.
There you go.
But at the end of the day, too, third baseman, I mean, it's kind of like you got to figure out who's going to play that other corner. You're not going to ride. You're not going to ride John Singleton and the rest of them guys.
Another season. Absolutely not. However, you have options at first base. You limited options at third base. So what are you going to be prioritizing? Probably third base.
It's either it's going to be either or than positions.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. There's really no wrong answer. That's why I said it's a hot take. It's not going to be very true that's going to happen. But the Astros find a way to get Pete Alonso at first, and then possibly you develop Shea Wickham, like Tony said, Shea Wickham at third base. Bryce Matthews is still in the farm system. He could pull a Bregman in 16. You remember Bregman didn't make his MLB debut until later on the middle part of that 16th season.
Which I think he does break that Major League roster next season. Bryce Matthews says.
Mm-hmm. I do have another hot take. The Astros trade away Ryan Pressly.
I can see that.
I think the Astros trade Ryan Pressly this offseason because, I mean, you got to find a way to make moves. And the Astros, I mean, they really don't have a strong farm system, but they have players that are tradable, like, for instance, Jake Myers or Chas McCormick. And Ryan Pressly, to me, I mean, he's had a really great career in Houston, but we kind of seen him fall off time to time. Some parts of the beginning, some parts in the mid, some parts at the end of season last year. So trading him away, I think that opened up Brian Abreu being in that setup role. You put, like I said, if you go sign Hector Neris, you put him in that 7th spot. Of course, there's going to be a bunch of other relievers on the board that can help out. So that's why I feel confident too that they'll probably trade him away. That's another hot take. A team that you could be looking out for too, Baltimore Orioles. That was a team that was looking at him from the beginning of the season last year when the Astros were kind of on a slow start.
Yeah, I can see that.
Any last more hot takes?
No, that's it.
Okay, final hot take. Myers or McCormick gets traded too?
McCormick.
So you say McCormick gets traded this offseason?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go Myers. Myers just showed he's a really great defensive player at center. But then too, you got to remember you got guys in the farm system that are getting close to ready, and I think Jacob Melton is going to be that guy. I'm excited to see what he looks like this spring training. That's what I'm going to say.
Okay. Yeah.
So we'll have to see.
He's got Pedro Leon too. So.
Yeah, Pedro Leon's another guy. That could be another trade piece too. Honestly. Mm-hmm. So.
Really good.
No signings. Trades are on the board. On the board.
We'll see. Again, I think it's gonna be a crazy offseason for the Astros. I think they need a lot of pieces, very little to work with. I think if they actually want to contend, they're gonna have to pay people. And I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do.
So, little hot nugget I didn't know. He has 10-5 rights, so he has the right to veto any trade. This is Ryan Pressly. And Josh will say, so if he doesn't want to be traded, they're stuck with him. Well, that's still fine. I mean, you still can't go wrong with Ryan Pressly. Ryan Pressly's he's done really good in Houston. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm saying. I don't think if it does happen, it does happen. That's why it's a hot take. And then if it doesn't happen, I mean,
Yeah.
still in a good role.
Yeah, there's again, we'll bring this talk throughout the whole off season, just some more about MLB as well, not just Astros, just to see, thoughts, feelings, moves that happen. But let's move on to around the horn, and I figure we're gonna spend the majority.
Sorry, Angel.
Go ahead.
Last one.
Go ahead.
Tony, hot take. Orioles never get past the first playoff series. My goodness. Haven't seen they lost Corbin Burns.
Yeah, no worries. I'm gonna keep it short because I figured we're gonna do most of the talking about the Astros, stuff like that. So kept it short just to announce the rest of the Gold Glove winners for the National League. Chris Sale, what a comeback season for him. Goes out there, pitches great, coming back from an injury, and messes around and wins himself a Gold Glove too. So congratulations to Chris Sale there. Catcher Patrick Bailey from the Giants. First baseman Christian Walker. Milwaukee Brewer Bryce Turag. And then how about their base competition? Nolan Arenado with the Cardinals and Matt Chapman with the Giants. Both Matt Chapman, who kind of like was really Alex Bregman's biggest competition for that Gold Glove in the American League, leaves to the National League and wins a Gold Glove over there. So Matt Chapman is your third Gold Glove winner. Like Lorenzo said earlier, the youngest shortstop to win a Gold Glove is Ezekiel Tovar, which happened this year. Outfielders, Ian Happ, Brendan Doyle, Sal Frelick. I don't know if you remember that throw from Brendan Doyle to gun out that guy at third base.
That guy's winning the Platinum Award. I'm telling you right now.
That's still the deal there.
He's a really great freaking defensive center fielder.
Yeah. And then U of H alum, Jared Chirolo.
Go Cougs.
Wins the Utility Award for Gold Glove in the National League. So shout out to all those guys there. All the hard work, paying off. AL winners to be pitcher Seth Lugo, catcher Kyle Riley. That's the guy Lorenzo said that could walk away with a Silver Slugger as well. The guy who never ages, who found a fountain of youth, first baseman Carlos Santana wins a Gold Glove there. He's looking to sign for a team as well. He's looking for a 2-3 year stare. That could be another option at first base.
That's what I had thought about too. As soon as he's mentioned right now his name, I wish I could take my hot take away from Pete Alonso. If I could go back, yes, I will say the Alex Bregman one, and then signing Carlos Santana, I think is the other one.
Yeah, I mean, there you go. I mean,
Angel always does this every time we say something. You know what? I'm taking my hot take away.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Carlos Santana, Gold Glover. Could be a future Astro, according to Lorenzo out there, but very well deserving at second base. Andres Jimenez, Gold Glove wizard. Shortstop Bobby Witt Jr. Third base, obviously, Alex Bregman. Stephen Kwan, Dalton Varsho, and William Abreu round up the outfield. And then, like Lorenzo said earlier, Dylan Moore won the Utility Gold Glove Award. And after the World Series, Garrett Cole opted out of his contract. He said he wants to receive $36 million annually again. There was a post from Jeff Passan that says that Garrett Cole is back with the Yankees and they will restructure the contract there. So that was just a little hold your breath moment, but the Yankees are going to work out with their ace. And then Teoscar Hernandez, Juan Soto, along with Alex Bregman, both received their qualifying offers. However, that's just a formality. They're going to decline it, and they are going to try to sign for more money.
Yeah, that qualifying offer is a 1 year, $21.05 million offer, which not a lot of players do not accept that offer.
Yeah, it's just on paper, basically.
It'd be shocking if they didn't. But what happens for the other teams, if they do decline that offer, they do get a compensated pick of I think it was a fourth round draft pick.
Fourth round or higher.
Or higher, yeah, for the next upcoming draft. So 2025 for the Astros, more than likely Bregman's going to decline it. They'll have a pick in that draft.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we're back to the hour shows, I guess. Shit. So much had gone on. We haven't, like we had mentioned, we haven't talked to y'all over a month. It was a good, relaxing month for us, but the hot stove's just going to continue on getting hot and heated, and we're going to continue to give you some good shows this offseason. Like I had mentioned in the beginning of the show, if you're barely tuning in to like the barely last bit of it. We will have some guests. We'll have one guest a month until spring training comes upon, just to get everybody getting going, players, possibly broadcasters as well. We'll find a way to get those people on the show, and we'll probably do a top 10 kind of Astros heading into spring training as well. I think that'd be
Yeah,
good. Good content, good debates, because I mean there are some Astros too. They're going to be a big pivotal part for this season coming up. Yonder Diaz, I expect him to get them power numbers back up. Honestly, 16,
absolutely.
24 from 16. That's crazy, but I think that'll happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, anything else before we sign off?
No, just thank you for joining us. Thank you for being back, and we see a lot of the same people in the comments. Uh, that's great. Keep it going, but we also want to see more. We want to see more interaction, more comments. So don't forget to subscribe, to like, to go see our podcast. You know where to find us, just in case you miss the first 30 minutes or you miss the whole episode. You know where to find us.
Yes.
Oh,
We
and a
need some
shout
new
out to
faces.
yeah. And a shout out to our Skina who really glowed up. That's our network station there. So go out there and follow. The more the merrier. Tell your friends about them as well. Might be big things coming for our Skina. The baseball will continue to be big factor, but the Super Bowl might be in the mixed. Some NBA players too. College football players too as well. So just keep in the loop if you're all about Latino players. That's where to be.
Exactly. But till then, we're gonna do this once a week. If we do have a special guest, we'll see what we can do on that part. But once a week, that's what we're gonna do with the schedule for the off season. You already see it's already past Angel's bedtime. We will talk
Absolutely.
to y'all next week. It'll probably be more than likely Monday. If anything changes, we will let y'all know. But till then, y'all have a blessed week. Of course, we're not gonna see you in the weekend. So blessed week, and we'll talk to y'all soon.
Peace.